As the pioneer hands over the seed of Sumeru to the chosen one, he chooses upon one last memory to die with while he reminisces on it. Perhaps we also share a similar bond, my friend. This will be my last look at you. People like us and Otto are just trials in this game. And as the light fades, words flow in nothingness. And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. An infinity of possibilities ebbs and flows in the great yawning gap far beyond your sight. An existence beyond human understanding. The pioneer that spent 50,000 years fighting a losing battle finally reached enlightenment and is ready to seek the universal truth. However, with who? And why didn't this entity meet a human in eons? Hello and what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we have a long and interesting video, so make sure to subscribe and hit the like button for more of this type of content. Now without further ado, let's jump right into the abyss. The second key manga starts off with Otto sending Durandal to the second key bubble universe, and there she meets the pioneer Sue, where he puts her through a trial, and as she succeeds, he gets to witness her strong bond with Rita and true respect to Otto, and hands her the seed of Sumeru as well as the real solution for this universe to defeat Honkai, and asks her to hand it over to Otto to execute it. The leaf says the following: As God said, the answer you seek lies on the other side of the tree. To reach that place, you must find the second key in its intact form. Let's dissect this quote. Here, this quote gave us the whole plot. As God said, Sue here acknowledged that the will of Honkai is God, or at least a God. The answer you seek lies on the other side of the tree. From the past chapters we went through, we understood that the other side is the imaginary space he needs to interact with in order to revive a new branch. To reach that place, you must find the second key in its intact form. And in this part, we understand that the previous era key doesn't do the trick anymore, and only a new second key will work. The only option available is Kiana, as she is the Herrscher void of this era. As the pioneer fades into the Sea of Quanta, he finds himself on a chessboard, with every piece representing a universe of some kind, while a voice tells him that he reached this place where all answers should be revealed. The type of game played is the same game that inspired Platinus Equinox, which shows a big correlation between the strategy level being used and the position of Durandal on such hierarchy. But this is not the first time we saw the word Platinus, as Ellen Platinus is the first, which begged the question: how is this connected to Durandal? And what is the job of Cal and Kaslana in this whole story? Let's start with the meaning of Platinus. The word is a medieval Latin that refers to the palace, and in the ancient Roman world, someone working in a prince's palace was described as Comes Platinus, or possessing royal privileges. Through history, being a Platin meant having an enormous amount of power over a specific territory. In other words, every Kaslana that awakens the Stigmata becomes a Platinus and serves a greater power. Yggdrasil, the mighty tree whose trunk arises at the geographical center of the Norse spiritual cosmos. The rest of that cosmos, including the 9 worlds, is arrayed around it and held together by its branches and roots, which connects various parts of the cosmos to one another. Yggdrasil grows of the well of Erd, a pool whose fathomless depth hold many of the most powerful forces and beings in the cosmos. Among these beings are the Norns, 3 sagacious maidens who created the fates of all beings. One of the foremost techniques they use to shape fate is carving runes into Yggdrasil's trunk. The symbols then carry these intentions throughout the tree, affecting everything in the 9 worlds. Odin, the wisest of the gods, sacrificed himself for knowledge and absolute wisdom. Hence the ruins at the bottom of Yggdrasil showed themselves. Sound familiar? Otto's thirst for knowledge, regardless of goals, led him to the imaginary tree, and ascended upon his human physical body, the same way Sue the pioneer did. Now that that's out of the way, let's continue. Now let's go back to the PV that introduced Mobius. Kevin stated that he doesn't need the Void Archives anymore, and the image switched to him blending with what looks like some kind of a tree that shows symbolism of how Kevin is now beyond the Hershers, beyond false gods. But then, who are the real gods? And to answer this question, we have to refer to the 9 worlds I mentioned above. To every world, a god to look over. Humans are suited in one of the worlds, located on the trunk of Yggdrasil, and although it's godless, it's surrounded by a serpent in which it protects the path to Asgard, the realm of real gods. As it's known to be the son of Loki, a god known for changing its shape and sex and form, as well as being known for being a trickster and either helping gods on some occasions or destroying them on others. We can already begin to draw connecting lines. The will of Honkai is an entity that tests human civilizations over and over again, and if the civilization doesn't pass the test, a calamity will happen. So if Hershers are the false gods, then the will of Honkai is the real one. Moreover, it's definitely not the only one. So to answer the question, who did Su the Pioneer meet after enlightenment? I would presume it's a god that we haven't met yet, a god that haven't seen humans in eon, and I could say with certain degree of confidence that it's a god that have met and lived with humans before, at least before Ragnarok. Midgard will be destroyed at Ragnarok, the battle at the end of the world. Jormungandr will rise from the ocean, poisoning the land and the sea with his venom and causing the sea to rear up and lash against the land. The final battle will take place on the plain of Vigrid, where Midgard and almost all life on it will be destroyed and sink beneath the waves. In the aftermath, Midgard will rise again, fertile and green in a new creation cycle. The cycle that the past era witnessed wasn't the only one, and it wouldn't be the last. For that, humans of the last era tried their best and were able to find a power stronger than the power of Honkai, a power as strong but more potent. In the game, we witnessed the presence of 2 types of non-human elements, quanta and imaginary. The pattern I noticed in common between them is the existence of stigmata. However, why is Seele's stigmata considered quanta, but Durandal's stigmata is considered imaginary? And the conclusion I got was because the power might be the same, but the source is absolutely different. If you go back to the analogy of Yggdrasil, if false gods does exist, then so are real gods, and all gods have different abilities and rules. So Seele's stigmata can be an example of a god with abyssal powers, a god that is closer to the sea of quanta, while Durandal's stigmata can be an example of power that is closer to the top of the tree, closer to the actual, real gods. So at this point in the video, we established the existence of different gods, different powers, Su reaching a god that hasn't seen a human in eons, and Kevin establishing a power parallel to real gods, somehow, with of course Mobius' help. Finally, my prediction is the following. The story is now going towards humanity deciding to free itself from the shackles of the gods, and for that, Kiana have to become as strong as one. Take over control and decide whether she wants to govern the human world or leave its fate to humanity. If you reached this part of the video, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and tell me what do you think in the comments down below. And hopefully, I'll see you in another video.